Hi, I'm Megan McCormick. Make sure to listen to my friends on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Doc here for DetroitBeardCollective.com, Detroit's premier grooming company. Visit DetroitBeardCollective.com if your beard is feeling dry, scaly, if you need to maintain your beard. This day and age, there's products out there that helps you take care of your beard. Beard butters will make your beard feel softer, better smelling than ever before. The Doc actually rocked a beard earlier this spring and summer, and I actually used the beard butter. I heard that Adam was into styling, and I'm like, you know what? Let me take care of myself. So I went to DetroitBeardCollective.com and bought the beard butter. My face actually does feel smoother. I definitely checked out the products at the Detroit Beard Collective. They got great t-shirts, oils, the ultra-popular Beard Crate, which is a wide assortment of a bunch of different Detroit Beard Collective products. So definitely support those who support us, DetroitBeardCollective.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Freddie Cohen of ESPN Radio. When I'm not talking about breaking news or breaking news on ESPN Radio, I'm always a fan and listen to the Detroit Sports Podcast, and so should you.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Thank you, and welcome to another episode of the Detroit Sports Podcast. This is the Doc and Jock Sports Program. I am the Doc, John Macaroon. Joining me, fresh off a great stint as an update on WDFN 11:30 a.m. I love those reads, man. They were great. Every half hour on the hour, my man, Adam, the Jock Strozinski. What's up, cuz? What's happening?
What's up, cuz?
Give you props, man. You did really good. I mean, some of those reads were tough. I was like, in my own mind, I was like, man, if I could do that 3 times, the pace at which you did it was unbelievable. You really sounded professional. You really are making waves and doing your thing, man. Congratulations.
I'm just trying to elevate myself, that's all. Elevate myself, then elevate the podcast here. That's all I'm trying to do, man.
All right, sir. How are you today on this fine day about to record this podcast?
Oh, man, everything's good. Just looking forward to talking some Lions, man. I mean, this is a big game here. Lions-Packers? What? If they win this, I think the train gets some momentum, starts building. I think everybody around town will probably start talking playoffs. There goes our draft pick. This is going to be great. Next thing you know, Shelly White's sitting in the driver's seat with Jim Caldwell, Ryan and Shoddy. Oh, yeah, this is going to be good. It's going to be real good.
I kind of like the Lions being on Thursday, kind of like the, the minor leagues or the, what do you call it, the warm-up act.
Right.
Then,
this is the JV.
The JV, however you want to call it. Then the real football on Sunday. I kind of like it. I think that's something I was thinking, man, if the Lions are on every Thursday, that'd be kind of good. You can get it out of the way quickly and, do our analysis. All that's good. Then we can sit back, watch some real football on Sundays. I think the Lions should be banned from Sunday football. They should be relegated to Thursday football.
This is like them taking away the Thanksgiving Day game.
They're
taking away their Sunday games.
Maybe that would be some motivation. Not relegate them like soccer out of the league, but if you can't play well, then all your games are on Thursday until you show some monicum of respectability. Then you can get some Sunday games if you can at least get like back-to-back 10-win seasons. Something like that. Some motivation to get this organization out of the doldrums and into productivity. But they're winning, and they're playing a better brand of football, and we're going to talk all about them. We're going to play a round of the Doctors in Session. We're going to talk about the Michigan State-Iowa game. Oh, man, a big, huge opportunity for the Spartans, and it's one of those things where this is the opportunity. This is it. 60 minutes of football on a Saturday evening. Win the Big Ten title. Defeat Iowa, which you did back in 2013 in Connor Cook's early games with the Spartans. You've done it before. They know what to do. We're on the precipice, and it's really exciting. It's nerve-wracking. It's going to be a Saturday evening, and when we get to that, I'll tease out I might have to miss the game or not watch it with full intention, so we'll see what happens. But before we get into the sports talk, I do got something I want to talk to you about. So I was just, peeking through Facebook. You have to every once in a while. Just kind of scroll through Facebook and see what's going on, and I know we did a What Would Jock Do segment, and we talked about it earlier, and I was like, I don't really have anything, but this popped in my head. So I want to get your opinion as what you would do if you were the guy in the car. So let me set the stage.
Okay.
So the guy is just randomly observing what goes on in the grocery store. And he observes that the gentleman and his crew buy food with food stamps, with the bridge card or whatever it is nowadays that people use who have, some needs, some extra needs. The state will provide you with some assistance. So he observes, and then he observes the individual buying lotto tickets with cash. So he's upset. He's like this fiery guy, and he goes up to the guy's car, and it's a quick 1-minute video. Listen to what the guy does and says, what would you do? What would Jock do if you're the individual by the car and this idiot comes up to you and starts barking at you and telling you what you would do?
Some shit's not even funny.
It's an angry dude.
One of them situations. Yo, dude.
Sounds really upset.
Yeah, I noticed you bought your groceries with a welfare card, but then you use cash to buy lottery tickets.
What? What the fuck is he saying?
I noticed you use the access card to buy your groceries, and then you bought scratch-off tickets with cash. You think that's right?
What? So what? What the fuck's your problem?
I like the girlfriend in the background.
Why are you using a welfare card to buy food, but then you're buying scratch-off lottery tickets with cash?
Mind your fucking business.
It is my fucking business. I pay taxes.
It's not your fucking business.
Yeah, it is my business.
No, it's not.
Now he's pissed. Now the dude's like, okay, fine. You think you're gonna talk to me like that? He gets out of the car and is now going up to the people. And they're calm. They're just looking at him. He goes up to them now.
It is my business because I work for a living and I pay taxes.
Go fuck yourself.
Wow, pregnant, smoking, and pajama pants? You're like a fucking triple fuck up. Yeah, all right. You know what?
Now he goes into the bag,
Steak is for fucking taxpayers.
goes into their bag, takes their food, takes their steak.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, pregnant, smoking, and pajama pants. You're a triple F up. I love it. That's got to be the best line ever.
So you got a guy who thinks that he's like,
man.
King Commando or he's the boss, and he's thinking that he should go up to these people and question them. So they were calm relatively. They were just like, I think in shock, or they were just like, what's this dude doing filming us? But he takes their food.
Right.
What would you do in that situation if someone confronts you about anything you're doing that maybe, a faux pas? Let's say maybe you're drinking out in the bar, you're having way too many, and some dude's like, dude, you're a radio guy. Why are you all out there doing that? You got a podcast. Why are you acting like a fool? What would you do in that situation? What would Jock do if someone came up and started questioning what the hell you were doing?
So you want to know if I was the guy who bought the scratch-off tickets?
Yeah. If you're just standing there and the guy confronts you.
All right, so like say I'm leaving Meijer, because that's normally where I go grocery shopping. I'm leaving the Meijer, and I'm trying to load my stuff up into my car, and my wife's with me. Here's the thing. First things first. You're not going to check me in front of my wife. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to allow you to disrespect my wife, and I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me in front of my wife. It's just not happening. So if he goes to grab the steak, as this was, out of my basket or out of my grocery bag, we're probably going to end up in some fisticuffs. I'm just saying. I can't allow you to sit there and verbally assault my wife, who this lady sounds extra classy, by the way. I can't allow you to disrespect my wife, and I can't allow you to disrespect me in front of my wife. It can't happen. If you pull me out the side and you want to have a conversation about this, and you're pissed off because I spent, I don't know, maybe $5 on some scratch-off tickets while I bought the rest of my groceries with a bridge card, I mean, I think you have bigger issues if you're worrying about my $5 and how I'm spending my $5. You probably need to get a life.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, definitely you can have the conversation as to, does welfare really help people get off the schneid and make them motivated, or does that enable them? You can have that conversation in general, but not to confront the people actually live. Nowadays, everybody feels like they have to address things as it happens because of the phones. And look, he took a video. Now it's like he just went up to him man to man. You stayed there taking a video of it.
That was the best part.
Yeah,
that and her being the triple threat.
I feel like the best part of my day is like you get like half an hour free a day in between lunch or whatever, and you just kind of scroll through because our podcast Facebook has a lot of followers, and you just kind of scroll through, and what people are posting nowadays is outrageous. It's outrageous stuff, man. But yeah, I agree. It's just use your time better. Don't waste time on people. It's a free country. You're going to notice in a free country that people are going to make their mistakes. They're going to do things that you don't like. Just talk about it with your boys. Talk about it on a podcast. Just don't go up to people because you never know, dude. I would do that kind of shit and then dude would pull out a Glock and blow my head off.
Right. How much free time do you have to sit there and pay attention to what this guy bought at the grocery store?
Yeah, why are you looking?
And then watch him buy scratch-off tickets. You have no life. You have absolutely no life.
I'm too busy waiting for the People magazine that says that there's like a Kardashian sex tape or something, or a Kendall or Kylie sex tape. I'm waiting for that. Or looking at the Inquirer as to who's doing what.
Didn't one of them get like all remade so they look like Kim? What a bunch of train wrecks.
Oh my goodness. All right, so that's that. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. Why are these people doing this? This is the era we live in, man, with the phones. Crazy stuff.
Just too much time.
All right, let's kick it off, baby. Let's talk about these Lions. We got to play a game versus Green Bay. They're coming off of a 3-game winning streak, playing better football. The overall attitude and vibe with the Lions is a little bit better. You got the Monday morning quarterback writing articles about how Martha Ford has had enough. She's ready for a win streak. She's had enough of all the talk about the Lions and their deficiencies and all the records and poor play they've had. She's ready to turn this around. They've gotten Ernie Accorsi to head the search for the next GM. Everything's kind of looking up.
Or if you ask Vinny, he's running the team now.
Speaking of Vinny, we do own props. We did say we'd give him props for the predictions that he made earlier this year in college football. A guy that doesn't really follow it, picked the Wolverines to go 9-3 and picked Michigan State to have a chance to win the national title. Good job, Vinny.
Good
Clap
job,
for you.
Vinny.
Clap for you. Now hit the books and start reading and stop making funny mistakes like that. Ernie, of course, is not the GM, Vinny.
He's just heading up the search.
Heading up the search, sir. So, what do you think? I believe the vibe is a little bit better around the Lions. We're not actually as angry. I mean, we can actually now start talking about like when other teams play well, the strategy. We can talk about in-game adjustments. We can talk about some positivity with the Lions. Some good stuff.
Can we talk about the bipolar offense real quick?
Whatever you like, sir.
They sit there and they come out and they look abysmal for the first 3 weeks under Jim Bob Cooter. Next thing you know, they take on a beleaguered Philadelphia Eagles team, and all of a sudden, they've reinvented the wheel. They look like gods out there on the football field as Matt Stafford throws 5 touchdowns. What is this offense? Is it closer to the team that puts up 18 in back-to-back weeks, or is it closer to the team that has Matt Stafford throwing for 5 TDs and racking up 45 points on Thanksgiving?
Well, they got lucky in that the Eagles came to town with a defense that just got torched by Tampa Bay and Jameis Winston. So there was a blueprint on what to do. You know, Jameis Winston throws 5 touchdowns on you. You give up a ton of points to the Tampa Bay. Come on now. So the blueprint's there.
Does Jameis Winston make it rain crab legs?
Oh, man. I don't know what
Goes to the booby bar, starts throwing up in the air.
Dude balled out. I don't know what, in terms of where this Lions offense is, I do think they're playing better. And the reason why they're playing a little bit better is, the offensive line is not letting Stafford get killed. There's still some deficiencies. They're still having some plays where, things break down. But Stafford's getting the ball out quickly, making better choices. You have a semblance of a run game with Theo Riddick. You're getting positive yards. And, hey, Stafford's spreading the ball around. And you have to really look at it like this. It's a combination of the Lions stepping up their game, not turning the ball over, as well as the level of competition in terms of teams' defense. Their opponents hasn't been that good. If you look at their record, when the Lions have played defenses that are ranked 20 or lower, they've won. When they've played any team at all with a top 10 defense, any team at all, they've lost. So in essence, you're able to basically handle your business versus garbage teams. And hey, in the past they wouldn't be able to do that. But you're sitting at 4-7. I give them credit. They've made some adjustments, as well as they're not facing the Broncos.
You know what? I think a lot goes into maybe what Jim Caldwell is doing probably behind the scenes. Maybe him and Jim Bob Cooter have sat down and they've discussed a few things. If you look at the way this offensive line is now protecting Matt Stafford, and I don't know if it's just a difference in what they're trying to run and what they're trying to accomplish. Maybe it's, quicker 3-step drops and he's getting the ball out of his hands a little bit faster. Maybe they simplified the offense, so now his decision is read 1, read 2, fire it away. It could be any number of things. Because when Scott Linehan was here and he was getting sacked the least out of every quarterback in the league, he had a very simplified offense. It was read 1, read 2. If read 3 is not there, you just get rid of the ball right away. And it helped avoid sacks. It kept him upright. I know that they've retooled this offensive line a little bit, and this might point to Jim Caldwell, because if you remember when he was on the Baltimore Ravens, when they went on that run and won that Super Bowl, they totally restructured that offensive line to keep Joe Flacco upright and help them win that Super Bowl. So maybe a combination of Jim Caldwell, Jim Bob Cooter coming together, merging some minds, has kind of helped this offensive line strengthen a little bit, and maybe, I don't want to say dumb down the offense, but made it a little bit easier for Matt Stafford to digest and to sit there and get the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker. Maybe that's now coming to fruition, and maybe we're seeing some regression with this offense, because under the first week under Jim Bob Cooter, they looked awful. They looked absolutely atrocious. That was the game against the Chiefs where they didn't even look like a real football team. 10 points were scored on offense there. You had 18 against the Raiders. You had 18 against the Packers. And then you come in and you put 45 up against the Eagles. So I think this game against Green Bay is going to tell us a lot. Whether they're closer to the 18 or whether they're closer to the 45. I'm thinking that the more comfortable this offensive line gets and the more Matt Stafford gets accustomed to this new offense, I think it's going to be a little bit closer to the 45-point production. I don't think they're going to put 45 up every week, but I do think that they'll put somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 20, 25. It doesn't sound like a huge leap, but in the long term, with the way this defense is playing, this defense seems to have a rejuvenation as well and has come around. I think that it'll help them win more games than it will help them lose games. And I really think that offense really killed them early this season.
What you're seeing is the emergence of guys that we talked about earlier, and I don't know what took so long, but Theo Riddick has done a great job.
Why don't you put him in the game more often? We talked about that in week 1. We talked about that week 1. The guy does a lot of good things very, very well. The guy catches the ball excellently out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles. He's not going to get you monster yards, but he can run between the tackles. The guy can sit there and take a handoff and get an edge. Why don't they play him more? You've seen it in the Thanksgiving Day game. They got him the ball. He got touchdowns.
Yeah, what you started to see now earlier in the year, when you watch that Denver game, basically the defenses that are strong can make tackles. So then those play calls that you have to run have to be effective. And so they got behind, and so it kind of made them one-dimensional. So the Lions were not able at all, because of how bad the offensive line was playing, to make any kind of progress. They weren't playing with any kind of efficiency. Now, when you have a little bit of a run game with Abdullah, with Bell, who's now healthy, he's now playing a little bit, like the guy that we expected, the guy that's breaking tackles, getting those couple extra yards. So now with that, with the extra production of the running game, that allows the passing game to open up a little bit. Stafford's still throwing the ball quite a bit. Remember, this is a passing offense, but what this offense needs, really, if they want to take that next step to be the team that's going to be closer to that 45, you need that star running back. You need that AP. You need that guy, you need that D'Angelo Williams to get you those.
But those guys don't fall off trees.
They don't. And you thought Abdullah was going to be there, but going into last week's game, he had well under 500 yards. So Abdullah's coming along. It's just one of those situations where the running game in combination with the offensive line just wasn't stepping up. And now you had Adrian Waddle on the line, and he's been a healthy scratch. You got Ola in there, and he's done a little bit better. And so the offense looks a little bit better. But you have to remember, the offense looks better because the defenses that we're playing just aren't that good. And then with Philadelphia in the game versus the Lions, they lost one of their corners to injury. So it made it even easier for the Lions to pick them apart. Remember, in the NFL, you're basically set up to win 6 to 8 games every year if you just basically show up. If you have half a brain and don't play like garbage. What we're talking about is what's it going to take for us to beat the teams like Denver. What's it going to take for us to beat a New England? What's it going to take is 15% better talent. These guys stacked up against the best aren't that good, but these guys stacked up against the Raiders and the Eagles, they should be able to get these wins. And now with better coaching, they're better.
A litmus test for this offense would be the Rams, perhaps. The Rams tend to have a very solid defense. They've got a good front line. They've got a very good secondary. So you think next week's game against the Rams is more of a litmus test to see where this offense is really at then?
I believe so, yes.
Because Green Bay's a little bit beat up.
Yep.
And Green Bay, I think, is just kind of spinning their wheels trying to figure out what they are this season.
Exactly. I think the Rams will be a litmus test because, they kind of also play a little bit dirty, too. They go after you. They play a physical
Jeff
style.
Fisher's offense, bro, or defense.
Yeah, that's how it is.
That's what he does.
But this week's game, I have confidence they're going to put forth a good effort. I mean, you had the blueprint. You have to just show up on defense, ball out, limit Aaron Rodgers' big plays. I mean, basically, Aaron Rodgers, the reason why he's struggling is that injury to Jordy Nelson really hurt them. Earlier in the year, they were able to expose some weaker defenses and throw the ball deeper and get some big plays. Now, defenses have figured it out. You just limit those big plays, keep their offense to 5, within 10 yards, and the injury to Eddie Lacy really hurt them. So then you've been able to see that Aaron Rodgers, when he doesn't play that well, the team's not that good. So if the Lions can step up and play just as good as they did at Lambeau, they should be able to walk away with the victory. I'm expecting them to play a solid game, and I really do believe there is hope in that locker room. They keep coming out and saying, hey, we're a good football team. We believe we're good. We believe we're solid. We're not giving up. So I believe they're going to give forth a great effort. Are they going to win? It's going to be interesting to see.
Well, how good do they have to be to end up winning this game?
They have to play very well. They got to play good.
I mean, I feel like I think Green Bay is going to come in here, and Green Bay is looking for some revenge. I think Green Bay is pissed off that they lost at Lambeau. I think Green Bay is pissed off that they lost to the Bears at Lambeau. I think Green Bay is pissed off about where they're currently at this season. And I think they want to take a lot of that out on the Lions.
Yeah. I want the Green Bay that showed up at Lambeau versus us. I don't want the Packers that showed up versus the Vikings. If that team shows up, forget it. It's gonna be tough.
I think it's razor thin for them right now. When going into this game, they've got to almost be perfect. Yeah. Every time they get into the red zone, they've got to put touchdowns up.
Yep.
They've got to be able to move the ball, and they've got to be able to convert on third down, which has killed them. If you go back and you look at their losses, third down has killed them when they sit there and they don't convert more than 50%. And I mean, that's just football in general. I'm not breaking any news here or telling you anything you probably don't know, but you got to be able to convert on third down. And if they don't play a really good, sound game, both offensively and defensively,
It could get out of hand quickly.
Yeah. This could be one of those games where it's like when you played the Chiefs. And Green Bay will hang 45 on you in a blink.
But what you've been seeing in the last couple of games, they've started games pretty good on offense. They move the ball pretty well. They may not be scoring touchdowns right away, but you do see a semblance of a philosophy in terms of, hey, Jim Bob Cooter allows the guys, he knows their strengths, and he allows them to do their thing. Look at Jim Bob Cooter has now put an offense that includes Golden Tate. He's scoring touchdowns. He's getting the ball, sometimes in end arounds. He's doing some things that are a little bit different, unconventional. I think he even put Golden Tate in the backfield one play. It's not an offense. Look, I really believe that Lombardi hindered this. And when we looked at it, everyone was like, give it time. But we gave it well over 20 games. It's not like we said this last year. We started to notice last year, this offense doesn't look right. It doesn't feel like they have explosiveness. It doesn't feel right. But then going into this year, first 4 games, you're like, doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right. And I think we should, you and I were on point. We said this offense isn't utilizing these guys. We knew our gut. This offense is garbage. And it took them, Caldwell's a loyal guy. I get it. But he hindered this season because of his decision to keep Lombardi. And blowing him out was a great decision. Jim Bob Cooter looks to be a guy that can put together an offensive scheme that can help the team win.
The one thing that Jim Bob Cooter has come in and done is he has changed the formations that they use. He has changed the packages that they roll out. And because of that, it's allowing Matt Stafford to do what Matt Stafford does the best, and that's get the ball down the field and get it into the playmaker's
deep passes,
hand.
Yeah. Completed deep passes.
This is something we've talked about before. With Jim Bob Cooter, this is probably the biggest stamp that he's put on this team is just flipping all of these packages around and putting in different personnel groupings that is allowing this team and this offense to succeed this season. And I don't know if it's going to play its way out and they're going to sit there and go on a run and possibly be in contention for the playoffs. Deep down, I really...
Listen, realistically...
This sucks. Deep down, I don't want them to win.
Realistically, though...
Because it's better for the organization in the long run.
Realistically, you would pin them to have one bad game. The schedule shapes up, if you just look at it from the eye test, that they could win out. But in football, to win, that many games in a row is not likely. You're going to have one game where the team, may slip up. So realistically, if you want to say, how's the season going to end, you could say, if you want to stretch, 8-8. Okay, I don't think they're going to go 9-7. I don't think they're going to win out. That would be amazing. Not something we've seen too often. We've seen it before, but realistically, you think 1, maybe 2 slip-ups along the way. But yeah, the chances of the Lions making the playoffs, Rich Eisen got on the bandwagon. He's lubed up with the Lions, but I think he was just, doing that for show. Realistically, they're going to finish 7-9, 8-8, maybe 6-10. But what we like to see now is a belief and a hope that they can play better, and it's happening. And now what the Lions are doing, really, they're putting this new GM search. They're making it really complicated because now you got Jim Bob Cooter and you got Terrell Austin, who as coordinators look like they can do some damage. So if you blow out your head coach, are you willing to hire a new head coach and tell him, hey, your coordinators are set, bro. You're good. He's going to be like, okay. You
can't do that.
See, that's what sucks is that Cooter, I want to keep Cooter and I want to keep Austin. I just don't want to keep Caldwell.
So you got to keep Caldwell. We've talked about this before, too. The head coach maybe makes 5 to 10 actual play calls an entire game. He's basically there to manage egos and to sit there and if there's something like just obscene that, say, Jim Bob Cooter or Terrell Austin wants to run, it's an all-out blitz package on, I don't know, 4th and 35, and they're backed up to their 20. And you're sending everybody. You're not going to do that. So Caldwell will be like, no, check from that, go to cover 2. And, that's basically what his job is. He just sits there and he just makes sure the play call is up to snuff, I guess.
See, as we sit here now, with the combination of keeping Jim Bob Cooter and Terrell Austin, because Terrell Austin also, too, the defense has played better. I kind of feel like, you know what? If it means keeping those 2 guys, then maybe I could sway a little bit towards keeping Caldwell and not be as upset. It would be like a pain in my butt, but I like what Cooter's doing. I like what Terrell Austin brings to the table. You got 2 guys that could be head coaches down the line in the NFL spread across. So you got a chance if you load up, and if Caldwell has to stay to keep the coordinators, you might have to look at that. But they're making it complicated, right?
Let me put it to you like this. If they go out and they hire a respected general manager, somebody who is high in the league, somebody that the league is high on and that they think is going to become something decent, or they get the approval of the league, and that guy wants to keep Jim Caldwell, I'm all about it. Sure, why not? You think he's the best coaching candidate to be able to handle and manage this team? I'm A-okay with that. that's fine. But if they keep a guy like Sheldon White and then they keep a guy like Jim Caldwell, it just screams same old Lions to me. And I'm just going to want to pull what little hair I have left in my head out.
You can't say same old Lions in that they did recognize their weaknesses when you put a performance like they did versus KC on film. They did blow out the guys who were part of the problem. So now you got to ask yourself, is this Lions team a competitive team with this coaching staff in place, with Jim Bob as the OC, with Jim Caldwell doing his thing, and if Sheldon White's the guy in charge?
And through these 4 games, I think we both agree that they do look competitive and they do look good. But that being said, they're basically 3-1 during those 4 games. And they've played, like you said, questionable defenses at best.
See, I know what's happening. The Lions are sucking me in, and
That's exactly what's going on.
The Lions force is sucking me in.
Yeah.
I gotta remember championship.
It's a giant lion straw just sucking you up.
1-7.
Mm-hmm.
See, the problem is though, then okay, you bring in a new guy, he's gonna want to bring in his pieces. But remember, Alavila, the Tigers too. We all thought Brad Ausmus was going to get blown out because Alavila was there, but he's worked with Ausmus. Maybe we may not have to just automatically assume that the general manager is going to want to bring in his own guys. Maybe he'll say, you know what, I can roll with kind of a free pass year, just kind of evaluate everything, and the new general manager may just observe 1 year, because most general managers will get that pass that first year. Just keep everybody, and if next year they suck, then you blow everybody out. Because then you got the general manager in place. He says, you know what, I'm going to show Caldwell respect. I'm going to show the organization and the Lions fans some respect towards Caldwell because he got them 5, 6, 7 wins in the second half of the year. Observe everything for 1 year, and then if I don't like it, just blow everybody out.
And a good general manager will know the lay of the land. There might not be a coach out there that he likes or that he feels is better than Jim Caldwell at this time, but he can look upon the horizon and see that, hey, maybe coach X, Y, and Z will become available the next season.
Yeah.
So if we use Caldwell as a stopgap, gets us to next season, we can blow him out and we can bring somebody else in. And at that point, he can use any reason he wants. It doesn't matter if the Lions went to the playoffs. He could be like, Jim Caldwell is just a stopgap. He can't get us over the hump. He's got us to 2 playoffs in 3 years. We need to go in a different direction. We need to win now. Let's go get Coach XYZ.
Yeah, so I think some patience and some kind of just hold your horses in terms of the lines. Let's just see first step, who's the next general manager, and then go from there. And then I think, all we're doing is speculating and trying to put our minds into what Martha Ford's thinking. You never know. It's just as likely they keep everybody as it is they go outside the organization and bring someone that we all respect. So it's all within the realm of possibility. It's all within the realm of possibility that Sheldon White will be the GM and everybody will be back and they'll just go for it again next year.
This is all speculation too. And all of this is we're building this up. We're making this more than what it needs to be. And this is all based upon this game tonight that's going to happen. If they beat the Packers, but they haven't beat the Packers yet.
So
and I need to know what they have to do to beat the Packers.
Yeah,
what do you see here?
Yep, they have to pressure Aaron Rodgers. You got the blueprint. Just show the film and what you did at Lambeau. You pressured Aaron Rodgers, you got him off the field on 3rd down, and you played solid on offense. You converted, and the Lions had a strong running game, and they imposed their will on Green Bay. It was kind of like the Lions playoff game. They felt like you had that sense of urgency, like every single play was important. And you saw that increased presence on defense. And, you got a guy now that everyone is talking like can be the next superstar, and we don't know what his ceiling is in terms of Ziggy Ansah. That dude can pressure Aaron Rodgers. He can get in his face. He can do some damage, disrupt that offense. And all you got to do really is those corners got to continue to bracket those receivers. And if you can do that, if Aaron Rodgers is not as sharp as he is, listen, if you get Aaron Rodgers' best game, he's zinging that ball in there, finding that tight window, finding all those receivers, forget it. You're not going to win. But if you can disrupt things on the defensive line, just cause him that little bit of maybe half a second less time to read the defense, you got that chance. And if you get those couple turnovers and you keep that ball on offense and you run the ball a little bit effectively, I like their chances. And I just want them to put forth a great performance. Win or lose, this season I kind of feel like is a wash, but we are watching a team that is playing solid football and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
I feel like you stole my prep sheet. And we could possibly coach the same football team.
Oh, yeah, we could coach.
Honestly.
Oh, you know
because
what?
Basically, I have the same exact thing that you just said. You got to get to Rodgers.
You know who's doing that? Romeo football doesn't have a head coach. They got the offensive, defensive guy are co-head coaches. First time ever. They won the division. And I started to pay attention because, our boy Jason works at 105.1, and he works with Matt Derry. He tweeted out, congratulations to Romeo, put out a little link. So I read it, and it said that I think if I'm not mistaken, Romeo does not have a head football coach. They have an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. They work together, and they won the state title.
That's impressive.
Maybe the Lions should do that. Go outside the box.
Yeah.
Jim Bob Cooter and Terrell Austin are the
Fire
guys.
Caldwell, huh?
Fire Caldwell and no head coach. Just two guys on the sideline running their thing.
Yeah, I really think in order to win this game and to come away with a W, they are going to have to get to Aaron Rodgers. They can't get killed by Eddie Lacy. He can't break any long runs. You got to contain him. And same thing with James Jones. He can't get deep. He can't get behind you and can't allow Aaron Rodgers that deep threat, that ball down the field, which then they pick up 30, 40, 50, 60 yards or a touchdown. They can't do that. Like you said, they've got to be proficient on offense. Once you get into the red zone, you've got to score. That's the only way they come away with a W, and that's the only way we jump on the doomsday prophecy where Sheldon White is now general manager and Jim Caldwell still has his job.
So now your homework is to just kind of get those scenarios in place. I think now, after that win versus Philadelphia on Thanksgiving, there's this numbers guy who's just a super whiz that kind of does a bunch of sports probabilities. And
Michigan State guy?
No, yeah. He's a big time dude, and his name is talked about all the time. But it went from like a point 1% to like 4% that we make the playoffs. So your job is to kind of research the possible scenarios. And Jerry does a good job in terms of Jerry Mallory on the Hindsight 20 in terms of telling us who we need to root for in order for the Lions to potentially make the playoffs. A lot of things have to happen. Minnesota's got to start losing. Green Bay's got to lose. And the Lions just have to keep winning out for this to happen. But it's interesting that they put the Lions in the hunt. I'm not believing it yet, but it could happen if they win versus Green Bay in the hunt.
How bad is the NFL product when a 4-7 team is technically in the hunt?
Yeah.
Like you're not even close to 500 yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
But that's the status of the NFL. It's got to improve.
The only thing more disgusting than that is Matt Millen's apology. Did you get a load of that?
Yes, I think you said, hey Doc, look up this audio. So let's see if we can pull it up here.
It's exactly what I said and how I said it too.
Exactly. If I can use my technological skills here to pull this up, let's see how it sounds. This is what your former general manager does on the air. He can't just put this to rest. He's got to come out there and talk to Dick Stockton and come out with this piece of audio quality. Good job, Matt.
Where'd you go? A little bit of a tactical error on my part, boys. I had this fleeting dream that I thought maybe I could run a team.
You thought maybe you could run a team, and it ends with really the best clip of all.
Sorry, Detroit. It didn't quite work out.
Sorry, Detroit. It did not quite work out.
Shut up, Matt Millen. Shut up. It's the most disingenuous apology I've ever heard in my entire life. This reminds me of when me and my sister were kids, and I pushed her down, and I took her bag of goldfish, and I ran away. Then my mom was like, you need to apologize to your sister. After I had already ate all of her goldfish. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. But you're really not. Shut up, Matt Millen. This pisses me off. Like you said, let it go. Let it go. We're still trying to move on from it. How many years has it been? This is like a scab that just won't go away and heal. It just keeps getting picked off and it just keeps bleeding all over the place.
Why?
Shut up, Matt Millen.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
You're a dick.
Yes,
Dude,
I am.
Seriously, it's like, you know what he's doing, really? In the end, you don't expect guys in their 50s to troll their former employer. Basically, that's what the definition of trolling is. He just had to throw that out there because I know it has to be getting around to him that every time he's on a Michigan broadcast or on a broadcast with the Lions, everyone's like, I want to turn this mess off. This shit is annoying. But we all know it's a mistake. You're probably one of the worst general managers ever in the history of football. So let it go. Yeah, don't bring us. You basically keep us out your mouth, boy. Keep us out your mouth. We don't want to hear anything that you got to say. Let it go. And I wrote on our Twitter page at Detroit Podcast, I don't accept your apology. Period. Keep our name out your mouth. Just focus on broadcasting. Do your thing with Dick Stockton and call football games. You're getting paid. Good job. You ruined our franchise. You put us back 10 years. Thank you very much.
If the apology seemed sincere, it'd be all right. But it just seemed like
he had a smirk on his face. Yeah.
It just seemed like he didn't even care. Like he was just saying it just because it was fleeting, and it was just like, yeah, I should probably say this. That's the worst part of the entire thing, is it doesn't even appear as though he cares. And I don't expect him to care about the Lions. I really don't. I mean, God, he sat there and drove us into the damn dumpster for how many years? So yeah, I don't expect him to actually care about this team, because while he was here working, it sure didn't seem like he cared. But Jesus Pete's, man, you don't got to sit there and you don't got to say it as smarmy as you said it with your stupid little smirk, and you didn't have to not mean it. If you meant it, then we could sit down, we could talk, we could maybe break some bread. We'll go have a beer. We'll go do something. I'll welcome you back, maybe. All right, I'm not letting you run a team because that's like giving a baby a shotgun. You just don't do these things. But geez Louise, man, you didn't even mean it. You didn't even mean it. So you can go to hell.
Yeah, let's move on from that mess. Let's take a quick break. Let's regroup. We'll play a round of Doctors in Session and talk about Michigan State. And we have to celebrate the Doc. Accomplish something that he never did before in the NFL Pick'em Challenge. Stay tuned. A lot more to come. Episode 121 of the Doc and Jock Sports Podcast. We'll be right back. Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Doc and Jock here for Fanatic U. If you're looking for some sweet sports swag and you love your Detroit teams, and I mean you really love your Detroit teams, you got to check out fanaticu.com. Check out fanaticu.com. Use promo code DSP. Save 15% even off the clearance items. And get the coolest gear out there and rock your Red Wings shirt, rock your Lions shirt, rock your Old English D to the Tiger games, rock your Piston apparel, wear it till the wheels fall off. Michigan State, you know what? They got it too. Check out Fanatic U. They have 6 locations all over Metro Detroit. Check them out, fanaticu.com.
Yeah, we coming now. Come on. Yeah, that's right. It's like a family in here, just a little disabled. Putting it down, we lay them out on the table. Yeah. Who's in the house? The brothers in the house. Gotta turn it on out, let you know what we about. Kinda like Cain and Abel, a bit unstable. Don't be breaking the brain, break the whole damn table.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Doc and Jock Podcast. We appreciate all the support. Appreciate the DetroitSportsNation.com website for hosting each and every podcast that we're putting out. We appreciate all the support from the writers and the crew over there at the Detroit Sports Nation. Check out their website, DetroitSportsNation.com. All right, cuz, it's that time of the podcast. We're going to play a round of the Doctors in Session. You got some sports questions you have to ask me, and I have to drop the knowledge in what we call the Doctor is in Session.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here. I'm the man. Woo!
All right, King of the Couch. Should the Denver Broncos move on from Peyton Manning and stick it out with Brock Osweiler? This has been a hotly debated topic this past week.
Yeah, it was a great game to watch. Denver, New England settled in, cold, football-y weather. It was nice, like a little bit of old school football. And so New England got out to a 21-7 lead, and you thought, okay, that's a wrap. They're not coming back. All of a sudden, Brock Osweiler started, darting the ball all around. The Denver offense picked back up, and they won the game. And what made it fascinating was he checked out of a play and called a toss sweep to C.J. Anderson. He ran the ball and got the victory for the Broncos in overtime, and it sparked off this debate. Okay, Peyton Manning earlier this year was nowhere near the Peyton Manning of old. Yet, the Denver defense and everything surrounding their talents as an organization got them to 7 wins. But what he was doing, Peyton Manning was really hindering that team and hurting that team because of all the turnovers. I think he showed up with several interceptions. I want to say 17 interceptions before he got hurt. Now you got this young cat, and he's in a contract year, and he's a 6'8" quarterback, can throw the ball around, and you start to see, okay, what is going on? What is going on with Brock Osweiler? Can he be the guy that can lead this Denver Bronco team further into the playoffs? Now, if the debate was decent Peyton Manning versus Osweiler, no comparison, you go with the guy with experience. But this Peyton Manning, now coming off of a foot injury, this plantar fasciitis, forget it. He's not going to come back and start throwing the ball all around. There are some things that Brock brings to the table that I really like. Remember, this is a cold weather game. So going into the playoffs, you might have to go into New England playing snow. Dude was darting the ball with accuracy, was getting, that deep pass that he threw to Sanders was outstanding. He was darting the ball all over the place with efficiency. And because of how he's managed this offense so far, he has not turned the ball over that much. So right now, this is the guy. Thank you, Peyton. Thank you for what you've done. This is the guy. Brock Osweiler is the guy of the future. You sign him, and if Peyton wants to continue his career, maybe with the Lions, maybe with some other team that will take him for a year or two, so be it.
You got to remember, too, Brock Osweiler does allow that offense to run the way it's constructed.
Yep.
With Peyton Manning, it's kind of this hybrid between the two. So he does allow the offense to run the way that it's originally designed, which I think makes it a little bit more efficient. So that's going to be a very hot topic, and especially since Brock Osweiler's not really. It's not like he's turning water to wine here.
Keeping it simple,
but he's winning games, and he's looking efficient doing it.
So he's going to earn a contract. That's going to be the quarterback of the future. It's very interesting to see a guy who's 6'8" throwing the ball down to receivers. I've never seen that before. But when he throws it down, it's hitting the chest of the receivers. So it's a fascinating debate, but it's about the present and the future. Peyton Manning's the past, and he's not going to be anywhere near the guy. He's a serviceable quarterback, a guy maybe the Browns, the Jets, the Bills could use for a year. Maybe that team that needs to get over the hump a little bit, but it's time. Peyton Manning, take a playbook out of Kobe, hit the showers, son, retire.
All right, let's bring this to Detroit now. The Pistons continue to be an up-and-down team. What factors are you seeing that are contributing to them being so hot and so cold? It's like they're extremes here.
Yeah, here's a couple stats you pull up. They got the victory yesterday versus Houston. Only the second time all season shooting over 50%. Only the second time. And what we talked about earlier in the year, what were our concerns? You've built a shooting team. If you're not going to shoot at least anywhere near 48 to 50%, you're going to struggle. Monday night versus Houston, they shot 52.9%, scored a ton of points in the first half, and they held on to win. Reggie Jackson came out when they were struggling, and he was like, you know what? This offense, we got to take better shots. We can't just, pass the ball around and with 2-3 seconds left, take up these contested shots that aren't that good. So the Pistons have done a better job of taking better shots, and they've done a better job of getting everybody involved in the offense when they play well. What happens when they don't play well is the offense gets stagnant, they make poor choices, and they don't hit the open shots. And then now, because of Andre Drummond's difficulties with free throws, as I guess is an understatement.
Oh, that's what we're going to call it?
Difficulties. His challenges. Because we're trying to keep it a little bit positive.
Okay.
His challenges, then teams can implore this hack of Drummond, get extra possessions, and get back in games. I mean, if the Wings and Pistons continue to give up these leads late, I'm going to have a heart attack, dude. I can't take it anymore. Getting out to these great leads, and then you don't win. You get out to a lead versus the Nets, and in the fourth quarter, you stagnate. And yeah, I know it's tough because of that flight. They got in late to Brooklyn because their plane de-iced from Oklahoma City. They got in like 5 a.m. Okay, fine, you're tired. But
they have had a brutal schedule.
Yeah, it's tough.
The first 18 to 20 games is absolutely atrocious, the way that the scheduling was done. And it's been absolutely just normal teams, they'd kill them. And this team is finding some way to stay somewhere around 500 the entire time. That's impressive, but you're right.
And what's going on with the Pistons is they're playing solidly up to the competition and losing to teams under 500. Look at the losses that they've had to sub-500 teams. Losses to the Nets, Lakers, Bucks, Kings. Sub-500 teams. Now this week in the 4-game homestand, you played Houston with a sub-500 team. You handled your business. You're going to have to play well against teams that aren't that good. Now, if you're going to have a situation where you're going to play up to the level of the competition, it's going to be tough, man. You're going to have to, people will say, okay, if you told me they go 99 with that schedule, fine. But they have 4 games they should have won. Really, in the end, you blew 4 games. And so
when you come out and you beat a team like the Cavaliers, like the Bulls, and these are teams that are regularly talked about being in the playoff picture, and then you go and you drop games to the Nets, to the Bucks, there's a problem.
It's a sign of a young team, a team that's trying to find its way. So what's good is, in those 9 victories, you've seen performances that you like. And so the problem is, though, and it's going to be up to Stan Van Gundy and that staff, is you got to find some consistency here. Let's go, Pistons. I think you can with the talent that you have. If Stanley Johnson emerges, and if that bench, who showed up with, I think, 32 points versus Houston on Monday night, that bench can play a stronger role for this team, and we keep imploring the bench to step it up, then this team can handle their business. But if we're going to have to, play the which Piston team's going to show up game, get out of here with that. Show some consistency, night in, night out. Set your offense, play solid defense, feed the ball to Andre, hit your damn shots. That's it. Don't call out the fans, Reggie Jackson.
Do you like seeing Stan Van Gundy employ basically a starting unit and a secondary unit that comes in and fills in? Do you like seeing that?
Yeah, I like that. You have to have a bench that's going to score. That second unit, we're all waiting for Brandon Jennings to see if he can solidify that unit. But that second unit is decent. But, again, consistency. You can't have nights where the bench goes for 0 points, 2 points. And then a night versus Houston, I know who I guess they never want to play defense. The Rockets, if they ever played defense, would be a solid team. If you're going to show up every other game or so, then you're going to have a 500 team. I really believe this is a 50-win team if they can put it all together. But right now you're seeing the inconsistency, and you're seeing that, not every night they're going to be able to shoot 50%. And that sucks because what I like is the thesis is great. I like the plan. It's just now executing it. I like the plan. Go out and execute it. Actually hit your shots and play better basketball. And if Reggie Jackson is going to have to score 30 points a night, then so be it. But you better do it with that contract that you earn. But you can't go out versus garbage teams and lose. period, and be more consistent. And I do believe this week with the 4-game homestand, you're going to get a chance to peek out ahead of 500. But, like I said, the Pistons have to be consistent. Otherwise, you're going to have win-loss, and an up and down year.
This team really reminds me of taking a girl out that you met from church. You get really hot and you do some heavy petting in the car and you're kind of making out and you're kind of starting to make your move. And then she kind of shuts you down a little bit. And she's like, maybe tomorrow. And then you come back the next day and you're making your move again. She shuts you down. She's like, maybe tomorrow. I feel like there's something special there. It's just we can't quite grasp it yet. All right, let's move on. The Detroit Red Wings. Good God, they can't seem to get a win in regulation or even confidently beat a team as they're blowing leads in the third period. Is this just growing pains or is there something more here?
See, at this point, what's tough to look at is, okay, we're kind of getting close to halfway point of the season. You can't say anymore it's growing pains. You kind of are looking at, okay, the same issues we've talked about before. Scoring across the, yesterday they played a great game versus Buffalo, scored 4 goals, and then the 5th one was the shootout goal. But with the Red Wings, you need consistent scoring across all the lines, and they're not getting that just yet. You're getting solid goaltending, you're getting solid defensive play. The special teams definitely could use a little bit of work. The power play sometimes goes into lulls. But what's happening is you see, again, a mark of a young team, a team that can get out to a lead, but just struggles to close things out. So what they need to do is at the end of games, just play a little bit more cautiously and a little bit more solid in terms of the basics. Clear the zone. Don't make mistakes. Don't turn the puck over. Don't take late penalties. And really that extra 5% effort of terms of clearing the guys out in front of the net. Because those goals that you've seen given up have been like from a little bit from the outside, tips, a little bit of rebound goals, some things that with a little bit of effort.
Been really soft in the middle.
Really soft in the middle.
Soft in the middle.
That's the best way to explain it. But I really would like for them to actually give Mrazek. Mrazek's kind of, in my eyes, from what I've been watching, has emerged as the number one guy. Howard's played good, but Mrazek's played fabulous. His last outing was great. And I'm happy with Mrazek being the number one guy. They're still going with this 2-goalie system. So be it. They're still decent in terms of the rankings. They could be better, but I don't understand the fact that they waived Ferraro, who got picked up by Boston, when you have other guys who played all year, like a Drew Miller, who hasn't done nothing. What has Drew Miller really done? You could have waived them.
But he does different things for the team than a guy like Landon Ferraro is expected to do. Ferraro's expected to be a scorer, where Miller's expected to be more of a fourth-line center or wing and is out there during penalty-killing times. He's not out there on the power play. So it's a little bit of a different role that he's expected to fulfill.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why Polkinen was sat. Maybe because of defensive lapses. Maybe he's not listening to the message. But that guy was, top 10 in terms of team scoring, was putting the puck in the net. Right now, I'm still patient with the Red Wings. I still believe they're gonna, at some point find that, as they would say, the magic light will turn on and they'll put on a streak. But it's really tough that, you watch a game versus Florida and they've come to Joe Louis Arena now and make it their home. They've won, I think, 5 straight at Joe Louis Arena. Come on now, it's the Panthers. You expect them to play better. And, just because you get to overtime, you only get a point. I like the 3-on-3. It's fun. We did get some victories now in overtime with some goals and with winning the shootout versus Buffalo. But I don't like these games, game in, game out, going to overtime. Come on now, win the game in regulation, put forth the best effort, and let's go. Because if you don't, remember, you're gonna need about 100 points to get to the playoffs. It's not gonna be that easy. So you better pick up the pace and let's go.
Do you see Mrazek? Because I think the decision's been made on the goaltending without it actually being said. Mrazek tends to play more games. He tends to play more games back to back. Howard will play 1 game, get benched, and then Mrazek will come in and either play a game or he'll play 2 games, and then Howard will come back out. So do you think a decision's already been made, but it just hasn't really been said?
Possibly. I do think if you just by the eye test, you see that Mrazek's the guy that has the it factor. I mean, he makes great saves. He can be a guy that if the defense has a night off and they just start giving up a bunch of shots, that he can stop most of them. I mean, the NHL is I like this version a little bit better, a little bit more fluid, kind of back to like the 80s kind of hockey. It's not bogged down with the neutral zone trap anymore. So there's a lot more opportunities to score. It's just the Red Wings make the game look like it's impossible to score. You watch across the league, you got scores of 7-4, 6-3, and the line and the Red Wings are like, losing 2-1, losing 3-1, winning 2-1. I mean, come on now, this team has talent. Let's go. Let's put forth a little bit more of an entertaining product, and let's bring some more excitement to the Joe. Let's go. Let's light the lamp. If they need someone to give that speech, I'm here. Let's go. Let's go, man.
You're here.
What the hell's taking so long? This team should be a dominant team in the East, and they're not.
Can we do for next week's show? Can you sit there and can you give me the speech? Can we record it and then can we play it on the podcast?
Sure.
All right. Everybody look for that next week.
Okay, we'll do what would Doc do as a speech? Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Doc's speech. We can actually podcast it separately too. Doc's speech to the Pistons and the Wings. I'll do both.
All right, sounds good.
Pistons and Wings. We'll play them both.
All right, thank you, King of the Couch. That's all I got for you.
Yes, sir. All right, let's take a quick break and then come back and talk about the Michigan State-Iowa Big Ten title game and then the NFL Pick'em Challenge to end the podcast. Stay with us. Doc and Jock, episode 121, Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I want to tell everyone out there about DetroitSportsNation.com. They're a great website, and they've been very supportive to all the shows on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. They host all the podcasts. They have great writers that cover all the Detroit teams, all the college teams. Check out their website and support those who support us. DetroitSportsNation.com. The collaboration has been excellent, and it's helped us to continue to grow and have great guests take phone calls. So our collaboration with the Detroit Sports Nation has really been successful, and support those who support us. DetroitSportsNation.com. All right, it's happened. Michigan State dominated versus Penn State. What happened to Michigan? Ooh.
Dude, when your center is running in touchdowns, let's not talk about Michigan. When your center is running in touchdowns,
it's a good day.
That's a great day.
So we waited. Everyone, day in, day out, early in the season. Hey, when's Michigan State gonna dominate? When are they gonna blow teams out? Okay, fine. We waited we did things the hard way. We lost to Nebraska, but in the end, it's played out how everyone kind of thought. If they continue to win, if they got that victory versus Ohio State, they put themselves in that position, and now it's here, baby. Michigan State, Iowa, 8-17, Saturday night. It's going to be great. Me, unfortunately, I'm a nice guy. For 4 years, I passed on the wife's works Christmas party, stayed at home with the kids, hung out, did my thing.
It's this day?
It's Saturday.
At what time?
6 o'clock. So the game will be on. It'll be on. It's a bowling alley. So it'll be on. It'll be a party.
Oh, you'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be all right. I'll see it. But I won't be like here in the, be in the background and, there's going to be bowling.
You just need to go hang out inside the bar.
Yeah, I'm going to duck out for sure.
That's what you're going to have to do.
8-17, I'm going to have to duck out. I'm going to find a way to definitely get into this game. It's going to be probably a 4-hour extravaganza because both teams might have to run and pass the ball. And, these college football games drag on, man. 8-17 start. The game might not end until 12:30.
If it goes to overtime.
We'll see.
But dude, this is going to be such an exciting matchup. Like, I'm not even a Michigan State fan.
You're excited for the matchup?
I am excited for this matchup. I was sitting there and I was going through and I was trying to do some show prep because I'll be honest with you, I don't know a ton about Iowa.
You do show prep?
Yeah, I do sometimes. I don't know. You wouldn't be able to tell by this podcast. Good God. But I was trying to get a better feel on Iowa because I've only seen like 1 or 2 of their games this year. I think I watched, I think they played Penn State and I watched that game. They've been absolutely amazing. I'm going to be honest with you. They've been a very good team. Good team. Michigan State and Iowa are so evenly matched. It's unbelievable. If you sit there and you pull up their stats and you line them up side by side, they basically score the same amount of points per game. They give up the same amount of points per game. They give up the same amount of yards per game. They run the ball the exact same, and they pass for just about the exact same. They're like carbon copies, except one wears green and white, the other one wears yellow, white, and black. That's the only difference between the two teams. So I think this is going to be an incredible matchup. I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah, I like Michigan State's chances in this game because, one, you would say, okay, they've played tougher teams. They've been battle-tested. They've been in this situation before. They've been in the Big Ten title game before. They're not going to be wowed by the occasion. They're going to be ready to go.
And I lied. It was the Northwestern game that I watched. Sorry.
Gotcha. So one word I like to describe for Iowa, now that I'm going to puff out my chest and do the Cam Newton Superman. Bam! Overrated. Dun, 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 dun. Who have they played? Tell me anybody played.
Iowa?
Oh, you call Wisconsin a win? You call Northwestern a win? Come on. Michigan State, if you put up against their opponents, we've beaten Oregon, we've beaten Ohio State on the road.
Michigan State's resume is much better.
My resume is better. My team. My team's resume is way better than Iowa's.
Earlier in the year, they did beat a number 19 Wisconsin team 10-6.
Yeah.
And they beat a number 20 Northwestern team 40-10. But other than that, you're absolutely right. They've played nobody. Illinois State, does that do it for you? No. Iowa State, does that do it for you?
They didn't play anybody.
What about Pitt?
What
about Pitt? While you're taking on Oregon, they're over there playing Pitt.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that doing for you?
Hey, they won the games though, so you can't discount the fact. But what you have to give them credit, props for having the 6th ranked rush defense in the entire country. So Michigan State's going to have to power through that. Michigan State has done a great job of being a little bit more balanced than in seasons past. They do pass a little bit more than rush. They average about 239 yards passing versus 159 rushing. But with the combination, if you can find that balance, if L.J. Scott, Holmes, and Madre London can get some yards and the offensive line can do some damage, then Michigan State can open up that passing game and look out. If Michigan State is predictable, though, they can't just run the ball every first down. Unless, like I said, that offensive line just shows up and balls out and opens up huge gaps. Iowa's going to come to play on defense. 6th ranked in terms of rush defense. They're not giving up that many rushing yards. But Iowa, where's their weakness? In the secondary. 63rd in the nation in terms of pass defense. Connor Cook knows that. The Michigan State coordinators know that.
What's Michigan State's weakness?
Michigan State's weakness?
On defense.
Pass defense.
Yeah, it's their secondary. Like I said, man, these teams are carbon copies of each other.
But they've played better. It's been a weakness, but they've kind of covered it up. They found the magic solution to cover it up, and that's pressure the quarterback, not allow the quarterback all that time. If Iowa's quarterback can get extra time and can pick apart that defense, you're going to have problems. So Shalik Calhoun, Malik McDowell are going to have to step up in one of the biggest games of the year and put pressure on that quarterback and handle their business. Because, like I said, if you let C.J. Beathard pass the ball, he's been pretty solid this year. Pretty solid, 14 touchdowns.
I know that you are always thinking MSU is going to lose the big game. Yep. I think you're programmed that way, and I don't think you can help yourself.
Right.
All right. But do you see a chance where MSU loses this game and still makes it to the playoff?
No. Are you kidding me? They surrounded the playoff with Ohio State's there. You got no, not at all. You're not going to put a 2-loss team that doesn't win the Big Ten. Iowa will get in, that's it.
You know what? Going into this game, before the rankings came out on Tuesday, I sat there and I was looking at everything and I was like, you know what? If something crazy happens up top there, I was like, yeah, there's a real good shot. If Michigan State plays a really close game and they lose, I don't know, by a field goal, they lose by like 1 or 2 points. Yeah, there's a shot that they could get put into that playoff. But then Ohio State completely jail sexes Michigan.
Yeah.
And then the committee does what I think the committee's always wanted to do, because I think the committee's always wanted Ohio State in the playoff. They sit there and they move them up to 6.
Yeah.
So now if Michigan State loses and something crazy happens up top, they've got their security blanket with Ohio State right there, and they can move Ohio State to number 4, which kind of pisses me off because it's like, you're rewarding this team who didn't even beat Michigan State.
Yeah, but
and they don't even play in a championship game.
Yeah, but you have the caveat also that the chaos is going to happen at the top, which I don't think Florida's beating Alabama. It's a not likely scenario. Alabama's going to go in there and truck them. I don't even. You know what? Florida might not even score 10 points. Alabama's going to go handle their business, and you're going to have.
You got to play the what if game though.
You could play.
What if Florida decides to figure out how to score points, and unlike their Florida State game where the only points they got was the safety.
Then the debate and speculation will be awesome the next couple of days. It'll be awesome.
What happens if Clemson, who's on this miracle run, decides to not show up? Just they take this game lightly and they get popped. And then what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird, man, because this committee was put together for one reason and one reason alone, and it was to pick the 4 best teams.
Yep.
And then they laid down this criteria that you have to do X, Y, Z in order to play for
the big dance.
Exactly. And if something crazy happens up top,
then it's going to be a fun Sunday, Monday.
I mean, do you mean to tell me that Clemson isn't one of the best teams because they slip up one game? I mean, it happens to be at the wrong time, but they slip up, right? You mean to tell me that Florida is that much better than Alabama, who you've had number 2? I mean, if you go back, really, truly, if you look at Alabama's schedule, who have they played?
Yeah.
They've had a soft schedule. You want to talk about soft schedules? That's a cream puff schedule right there. So how are they even number 2? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just like this is a really fun talk and really good conversation. But going into this week, I seen a chance.
Okay.
Now with the security blanket of Ohio State slotted at number 6, I don't see any chance for MSU if they lose. They have to win this game in order to get into the playoff.
Yeah, it'll be a devastating loss. I mean, you've beaten Iowa before. Connor Cook in 2013 played a solid game in one of his early starts. He has the experience. I do not see a scenario in which you don't get the best effort from Michigan State. I feel like Michigan State is going to play a solid game, and this is, again, another stepping stone for the university. This is what the universities wanted. This is what they built the team for. So if you go into this game, it'll be another devastating loss. But they have lost in the Big Ten title game. They have played not so great, but I don't think that Iowa has enough. When you match up the talent, I think that Michigan State has enough talent and enough big-name talent at the right time to make the plays. And so I'm thinking Michigan State 35, Iowa 27, 28. So a touchdown win. It's going to be comfortable. It's going to go back and forth. It's going to be a very entertaining game. But Michigan State just has enough. They can control the clock with the run game late in games. I do think they might be able to wear them out. And I do think that this is destiny. This is destiny for Michigan State, and they're going to finally show up and do their business and get to that first bowl game and get to that semifinal. I'm so excited to see it, and I just hope it's not really super tight, last possession type of game, man. That would be terrible.
Michigan State controls the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and I think they take advantage of their opportunities deep down the field. That's what's going to separate this game. Michigan State wins by, like you said, a touchdown.
I hope so, man. It's going to be a fun time to get to that bowl game. And in the end, even if you get to the playoff and you get, trucked by whoever it may be, if it's Clemson, then so be it. You got there, you had a chance. I kind of like, if you look at the matchup, I like the matchup versus Clemson. If it can be 1 versus 4, I would like that matchup. You would definitely have to worry about their speed, but you would have a chance. It wouldn't be something where
I think
you get blown out.
Match up much better against Alabama.
I do. But I think don't discount Michigan State with a little bit of preparation in terms of their ability to handle Clemson. This might be the start of something special. I'm saying it here. You have the situation where you have a team that is laying in the wake, a la Ohio State last year, who had an early season loss. Michigan State had a tough loss to Nebraska, and they're peaking at the right time. If this can continue, if this style of play can continue, where they're passing efficiently, they're running the ball solidly, the offensive defensive line, they're just as good as anybody else. Why not us? So, you know what? It's time to put it on the table. We're going to win this, and we're going to win the national title this year. 2 wins. 2 wins.
I can't believe you're picking. I can't believe you're picking Michigan State.
I'm picking Michigan State.
I can't believe it.
Well, if you look at it, it's one of those things where it's not out of the realm of possibility Iowa would win, but it would take Michigan State not playing well, making mistakes, and totally shitting the bed for that to happen. Iowa can instill their will.
Normally, you run away from big decisions like this.
Not a big decision. I'm going by the style of play. I picked their 2 losses to be to Oregon and Ohio State, not to Iowa. So if they lose to Iowa, I'll be shocked and surprised. But I wouldn't be like it's not out of the realm of possibility. Iowa's undefeated, and they do a lot of good things well. They got a solid running back. You just got to do a couple things, contain Jordan Kanzeri, and he's coming off a 2 touchdown performance. So if you contain him, you handle your business, you don't give up too many big plays, you're in the conversation. You have a team that's solid enough to be in the conversation each and every game. And this is our year. Why not the Spartans? Why not win it all in Harbaugh's first year? After they got trucked by Ohio State. Why not us?
What does that have to do with anything? This is what I hate about you people.
I knew that.
What does this have to do with anything? Your
what?
success has nothing to do with our success. They
what?
have nothing to do with each other unless we play each other, and it's the deciding factor in who goes where. Your success has nothing to do with our success. Our failures have nothing to do with your failures. It's the way it works. Why do you do this?
I'm going to put the thesis out there, and I knew you'd ask the question. So here's the question, and it might sound sick, it might sound retarded, but I actually get more joy out of a Michigan loss than I do the happiness out of a state win.
You're a disgusting human being.
And I'm putting it out there as a reason, and it might be trollish, it might be ridiculous, but it's like one of those things where you got toppled by the bully for so long, you got beat over the head with so many comments, that now that you're the big dog, you just got to be like, you know what? If that's the game, let's play it.
You know what sucks?
That's the game.
You know what sucks?
Don't hate the player. Hate the game.
You know what sucks?
This is what the environment is.
I can sit there and I can put my fandom aside so I can have a legitimate conversation with you.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
We can talk X's and O's and we can break things down. We can break things down, and I can sit there and I can root for your school.
Good for you.
All right?
I can't.
I know. It's disgusting. If the shoe was on the other foot, you'd be over here picking Iowa to sit there and just rain on the parade no matter how good or bad Iowa was. It makes absolutely no sense. You can't sit there and you can't pull your fandom away and separate yourself for a minute to sit there and take your Spartan-colored glasses off to look at what's in front of you.
It's great. No, I told you, it's actually better to be shocked than it was to be actually right. You were right. I was shocked. I mean, once you said that Connor Cook wasn't playing versus Ohio State, I was like, okay, it's done. And then you're like, well, what the hell? The defense stepped up. They're not giving up first downs. Ohio State took their step back. Great for us. But then when Ohio State plays Michigan, they get rolled. I'm like, pour it down, baby. Pour it down. Dance. Let's go. Let's do the dab. Dance away. Have a good time. That sign in the big house was great. Welcome home, Harbaugh. The Ohio State, man, they trucked you guys. It was great.
It has nothing to do with this conversation.
And listen, you have to also question your Michigan brethren in that I think as well that if Michigan State loses, you'll hear those comments. Oh, they're not ready. Oh, it's a big devastating
Oh,
loss.
yeah, don't worry. I got a nice one saved up for you because of all the BS I had to go through last weekend
And that's what
with
it's
you
about.
and Kenny sitting there trolling me on Twitter.
That's what
and
it's
then I go
about.
out to the bar, and then I come home, and I've got like 9 messages, and I'll be honest with you, I was half in the bag while I was tweeting you, which is a disaster.
I figured as
Don't
much.
ever do that. That's horrible because the next morning you wake up and you're embarrassed.
This is what it's
So,
about.
yeah.
This is what it's about. It's more. I think it's more fun as a fan to cheer when your opponent loses than it is. Listen, Michigan State's giving me great memories. If they win, I don't know how much more excited I can get. I mean, literally, I might have a new sensation if they win the national title. But I mean, I was, high with excitement after the Big Ten title. I was high with excitement after the Rose Bowl. So this is like uncharted territory. I don't know what to expect. If they make the playoffs, I won't know how to act. We've never done this before. So you guys have done it.
Yeah, it's only been 2 years.
We haven't.
A whole bunch of people haven't been able to do it yet.
Listen, our ceiling was top 5. Now we've been able to say top 1, like win the whole thing. Like,
Dude, you're going to win. You're going to be in the top 4. All right. I think there's a legitimate case that you're number 3.
Maybe.
All right. And I think you match up very well against an Alabama team. And I think you can beat them. So then you're a top 2.
Remember, when you don't do things too often, it's uncharted territory.
You guys are an elite damn program. You've been an elite program for the last 6 or 7 years. What are you talking about?
But now we're talking about winning the national title. There was never national title talk. They'd always
You
lose.
built to this.
Yes.
If you go back and you look at the way things have been laid out, this is what happens.
Yes.
This is a good ride for you guys.
A great ride.
You guys started off very small. It was win the Big Ten.
Yep.
You won the Big Ten.
Yes.
Make it to a Rose Bowl. Win the Rose Bowl. You've done all these things. You've won the Big Ten championship. You've popped Ohio State. You beat Michigan badly.
Yes.
Badly. Numerous times. Not just once. Not just twice.
Yep.
7 out of 8 times you beat them.
Yep.
All right? You build for this.
Yes.
You're prepared for it. I don't know why you guys act like it's a brand new shoe that you're trying on for the very first time.
This is a new shoe. This is the college football playoff shoe.
Jesus, Pete's, man. You build for these things. You're prepared for these things. So the moment is never too big for you.
Yeah.
But the moment is always too big for Spartans. I don't understand why. It's like everything is like it's a brand new pair of underwear for you guys. Oh, it feels so good. Oh my gosh, the elastic isn't all stretched out. They hang and hug on my hips just right. My ass isn't hanging out. This is great. My pee-pee's not falling out to the side. Yeah, who cares? They're a brand new pair of underwear. You built for it. You put them on before you've done it. Let's go.
Okay, see,
Win a football game.
You're able to speak from experience, being that you supported Michigan. You've seen a national title. You've seen years of
What
success.
national title? 97?
Yeah.
The co-national championship?
Hey,
because Tom Osborne had to get his pat on the butt?
Yeah,
Get the hell out of here.
You've seen success in terms of early on, in terms of, Bo Schembechler, Gary Moeller, Lloyd Carr. You've had a lot better seasons more consistently than State has. So what you're saying is you're able to speak on it because you have experience. So you know what it's like to have a team that wins. So what Sparty fans are coming from, we're like, is this really happening? Yes, it's happening. And then juxtapose that with,
Sparty fans are coming out of your cave, you little
the
trolls.
antagonists, Urban Meyer and Jim Harbaugh, and you go, okay, it's done.
How are they the antagonists?
Because
if I look back on Saturday and Sunday, I believe that you were the antagonist, and so was Kenny.
No,
and I was the antagonized.
No. The antagonist is one that the storyline is Michigan State can't do it. This is a devastating year. Their run is over. Look at Michigan; they're going to win the national title before Sparty. So we're hearing that message.
Do you speak from a Metro Detroit perspective, or do you speak from a national perspective? Because nationally, I think you guys are getting slobbed on. I think it
started after Ohio State.
It's green and white cocoa butter all over their face
because they beat Ohio State.
Looks like a bad porn
with a backup. That's why it started.
Mm-hmm.
So early on, like I said, we lost. We won games and went down in the rankings.
How many times have College Game Day done shows with you guys?
A ton.
This past year.
But remember,
2, 3.
We won games that went down in rankings.
Yeah.
You ever hear
exactly.
that? You ever hear that? We won games. There was talk that Michigan could lose 2 or 3 games and still get into the playoff. So that's the environment that we're in. So in that environment, I'm now saying, okay, good. I'm starting to hear what you're saying. And if they win, versus Iowa, I will now start to place my foot on that mantle and take the throne and enjoy it. But until then, you can't blame me for being hesitant. We haven't seen this before. You've seen it.
You can be as hesitant as you want.
I'm hesitant.
But the narrative that you guys go with is obnoxious and annoying, and especially when you sit there and you call Michigan into it. Michigan and Michigan State have nothing to do with each other unless they're playing each other that week.
Okay.
That's the only time you guys are going to go on. You're going to play in the national playoff for the national championship, and I think you guys got a great shot to win the whole damn thing.
And Michigan's not, so that's what makes it great. Woohoo! All right, so something happened in the NFL Pick'em Challenge that I don't think has ever happened before, or you wrote it that never happened before.
I want to poke your eyes out.
I went perfect. Woohoo for me.
You did. I think that was a first. 4 for 4, and you grabbed all 5 points. I don't know. I don't think that's ever happened in this.
So this is awesome. So you had the lead. I pulled into it. It's tied. The NFL Pick'em Challenge is now 28-28, and this is a big week. So you have the honors in the NFL Pick'em Challenge. What you got first? Who's your first pick?
I just want you to know at this moment in time, my first 3 picks are all road picks.
Who? You're picking the road teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I might pick a home team. I might pick a road team. I have no idea what I'm doing yet for the very last one.
All
right. So the New York Jets are -2 at New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Jets offense. I really like their defense. They should be getting Revis Island back. So give me the Jets laying 2 points in the battle for the Big Apple, I guess. Why not?
See, this is a tough first game. The first, I see Cleveland is now going with their third string quarterback. They're still not going with Johnny Manziel. Cincinnati's going on the road.
He looked good, though.
He did.
I mean, their kicking game sucks, but he looked good.
I don't know what to do here with this one. I'm going to still go for it. I'm going to take Cincinnati in a rout. I think that quarterback's going to be overwhelmed. Cincinnati's playing a solid brand of football. So with my first pick, I think that Cincinnati is going to blow out Cleveland. Give me Cincinnati -7.
Cincy -7. All right, my next game. Atlanta Falcons are getting 2. They're traveling to Tampa Bay. Atlanta should be getting Devonta Freeman back. He should be concussion-free. I think Matt Ryan looks like he has his life together this game. So I'll take the points over King Crab and the Dirty Pirates. So give me the Falcons +2.
I agree. It's a good pick. Good, solid pick.
You like how I have question marks after everything I'm picking? Because after last week, I don't even know anymore.
You don't even know, huh?
I've never seen somebody go perfect one entire week. Just nailed everything.
You're shocked, huh?
Yeah.
Why are you so shocked? I did a pretty good job.
You did, yeah, you did. But geez, Louise, man.
These picks are tough this week. Okay, so you got San Francisco coming into Chicago. I like the fact that San Francisco is playing a little bit more solid. They're not winning games, but they're playing a better brand of football. So give me San Francisco +7. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think Chicago's going to blow them out. So with my second pick, I got the 49ers +7.
All right, the Houston Texans are getting 3, and they're going to Buffalo. Does anybody know what Rex Ryan's doing in Buffalo? Anybody? Bueller? No one knows. So what I do know is the Texans look like a motivated team. Not a good team, but a motivated team. Plus, I love J.J. Watt, so give me the Houston J.J. Watt and 3 points.
Houston and 3. Ooh, okay. That's an interesting matchup. They've played really good. I like what Bill O'Brien's done in the face of adversity. He's a solid coach, a little bit underrated, and they've had quarterback issues, a bunch of issues. But when you got J.J. Watt, that's a solid team, man. You got J.J. Watt. A lot of people are starting to draw the comparison with Ansah to be like J.J. Watt. So
that'd be great.
That would be great, wouldn't it? All right, I got a pick'em game going on the road. Seattle's been playing a little bit better brand of football. I think that they've kind of found a little bit better balance between the offense and defense. Minnesota still is kind of needs to show a little bit more. I know they got AP, but I think Seattle has a perfect game plan. So I like Seattle going on the road versus Minnesota with my third pick. In an even game, pick them, so I like Seattle.
This last game, I've gone back and forth with myself. I still have no idea what I'm doing here. This is going up to the very final seconds. I'm gonna read you my breakdown so you can see where my head was when I was sitting there trying to debate where I was gonna go with this.
Yeah.
It was, man, I really want to pick Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I think they look like a playoff contender team. I think they look like the playoff contender we know they should be in this game. But I look at the line and my gut says Lions. My mom always says, no guts, no glory. So I want to reluctantly take the points and say the Leos. But it's Green Bay, right? It is Green Bay. They're coming to Detroit. Detroit usually shits the bed against Green Bay. The line's 3. Detroit is getting 3.
Mm-hmm.
So do I take the points and do I go with the Leos? Or do I take Green Bay and do what I expect they're going to do? Debate.
Remove the fandom and go with the objective.
Debate. You know what? I'm going to have to switch my pick because I was picking the Lions +3. But I'm going to go Green Bay. Green Bay laying 3.
So you think that Green Bay is going to win by a touchdown? By more than 3 points?
By more than 3 points.
Okay. Then I'm going to go put my nuts on the table. I have to get back in it because I got a feeling my picks in the first round weren't that good. I don't know. When you get that, there goes my Sparty.
I picked all road teams, by the way.
You did. See, there goes my, Sparty lack of confidence guy mentality. But I'm going to go against you. This is a team of destiny. Detroit Lions, team of destiny, on the road to 9-7. That's our championship. They're going to play at home, a week to prepare. They've done it before. They're going to play a solid game. And my bold prediction, Amir Abdullah, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. So look for the Lions to play a solid game at home. They're not going to crap the bed in front of the national audience. They've played on Thursday. They know the routine. Give me my Lions +3 in a outright dominating victory, 27-13.
Oh boy,
they're going to play well. Get me ahead in this competition.
Did you think? I don't know, man.
I put them on the table. We'll see what happens. This is a key week for this Pick'em challenge. I got back in it, but I got to maintain my spot. Take the lead. Go right ahead. Back-to-back all picks. We'll see.
Dude, if you do that 2 weeks in a row, I got iced coffees for you. Or I got coffees for you with tons of sugar, however you like it.
Good podcast, sir. Episode 121 in the books. A lot. We do a lot in this podcast, man. It goes by fast.
We cover a lot.
Go for it a lot. Strong opinions. I know what I like to see, though. I like to see that some of our influence is sprinkled across. I even see some of the contests that we do with the same people with other Twitter sites. So it's good to see. We are influencing other situations. A lot of podcasts sprinkling out, a lot of things going on. So I like it. I like it a lot. It's all good, brother.
Sounds good, man.
All right, let's wrap
Till
this
next
baby up.
week.
Till next week, I am the Doc, John Macaroon. He's Adam Straczynski. Look for him. You're going to hear him on the radio, podcast, television. He might even be Channel 20's next top host. You going to enter?
No, I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah. I'll tell you about it after we wrap this up.
All right.
You've been listening to the Doc and Jock podcast every Thursday. Thank you for supporting the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Go Packers.
Sorry, Detroit. Didn't quite work out.
And all I can say is Detroit Sports Podcast scores.
I have voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me. They talk to me.